Yeah, that's exactly right. Speaker Destin Holland, Senate President Phil Berger pointing to redistricting efforts in California led by that state's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom as a motive behind the push here. But it should be noted that Newsom acted after Republicans in Texas worked to redraw the maps to their favor in that state. Look, broadly speaking, we've seen this play out nationally over the past several cycles, leading voting rights advocates to call for change.
Alleged gerrymandering.
Just 2 years after Republicans drew a new map, leading to a flip in the state's congressional delegation from a 7-7 split to a 10-4 GOP majority, they're planning to introduce an updated version, which could result in them picking up an additional seat.
Well, you saw it play out in some of the court cases most recently in their opinions, where the opinions were very favorable for where we're attempting to go with redistricting.
The Democratic Congresswoman Deborah Ross called this latest move political games.
We need to make sure that they don't draw these crazy lines to make sure that people can elect a representative who truly represents their interests.
The lack of competitiveness is felt nationwide. According to the Brennan Center for Justice, in 2024, there were 244 congressional races with a margin of victory of at least 25%, and just 37 decided by 5 or fewer points.
But as long as we have legislators drawing their own districts or drawing congressional districts for the purpose of advantaging their political party, we're not going to get any competitive districts by and large.
Bob Phillips is the executive director of Common Cause North Carolina. He says both parties have utilized redistricting to their benefit and believes reform is necessary.
We need, obviously, national legislation that addresses the gerrymandering problem at the congressional level, which would impact all the states. And then on a state-by-state basis, you could have reform for the legislative races.
Phillips also expressed concern about the impact this potentially have on voter turnout with so many uncompetitive races. We're going to have to wait until at least next week when lawmakers return to Jones Street to get a look at those new voting maps, but Democrats are already expressing concerns that it could ultimately target Don Davis. He's a Democrat who won the 1st congressional district in 2024 by about 6,000 votes, just under 2%. For reference, every other congressional race in North Carolina in 2024 was decided by at least 13 points. If you see just how far we've come from those competitive races, or the number of competitive races, to what we're seeing now, again, Democrats concerned it could be Davis whose seat is most at jeopardy if these new maps were to move forward.